in Business Analytics and AI. Welcome to our webinar in July. And I just want to make sure so this way I can go to the next slide. Okay, let's try that again. Okay. Okay, that didn't want to play, so let me try it again. Give me a minute. Okay, I think that'll work this time. Okay, so again, going back, hello everyone. My name is Sunela Thomas, and I am the program director for the MSBA in AI. I have with me Sylvia Leventhal. She is the program manager for the same program. So we try to do these sessions. Yes, it is for you to answer your questions mainly, but we also try to give you upfront some information, kind of overview of the program, and some of the questions we may answer that you already have. Okay, so but if a question comes in your mind, please ask that in the chat as it comes to your mind. Sivi will post that link if there is a link available. And at the end of our webinar or end of the presentation, you can unmute and ask your questions, or you can post your question in the chat. Okay. So you may be wondering, why do you want to come to, why am I saying UT Dallas? If you come to campus now, there's a lot of construction going on. We have a new Jindal School of Management building. We have 1 and 2, so third building is being built. We're hoping it to be ready next summer or maybe next fall. It is the UTD has around 30,000 students, and about 10,000 of them are in the Jindal School of Management, where we have the graduate class around 4,000. Okay. If you look at Texas's economy and where DFW fits in, Texas is around 8th largest economy in the world, and DFW area is the 23rd largest. And if you look at all the jobs that are in the Texas area, there are a lot of Fortune 500 companies, around 20 plus, that have that's in the DFW area. There are 45 companies that are among the Fortune 1000 that are have headquarters in DFW. Okay, so it has all the major industry sectors, oil and gas, aviation, manufacturing, healthcare, telecommunications, all of that, finance, all of that. Okay, so in the MSBA Flex program, it's a state-funded program. It is on campus and online classes that you are available to take. It's flexible. That's the name, MSBA Flex, and it's self-paced. That means if you're an international student, then you have a requirement on F1, then you have a requirement to have 9 credits or 3 courses each semester, each long semester. But if you are resident or domestic student, then you can just take whatever number of classes you want to take in a semester. Okay. Total in the program, it's 36 credits, out of which half of it, 18 credits are core and 18 credits are elective. So core meaning those 6 courses you have to take during your program time. And students finish the program between 18 months and 24 months. I would say more towards 24 months if they are a full-time student. I often say as a administrator, being a student in the US universities, that I would say as a graduate student, at least in the first semester, take only your 9 credits, because if this is your first time in the UTD campus, learn about the campus, explore the resources that you have there. We have a lot of resources. Telling me or telling anybody I did not know anything about it is actually truly an excuse, because if you are involved with the campus, you are going to know about the events that happen there. Okay. There's in the hallway in the JSOM, you have everything posted. You will meet other students, other peers, seniors, that if you even just talk to them, they'll tell you all about what are the events that are going on. The Flex program, the beauty of it, it has 11 tracks, and the 11 tracks has about 80 elective courses that you can take. So within your program, there is no way you're going to take 80 courses. So what is it about the track? The tracks are not posted anywhere in your diploma or in your transcript. Okay, it's just to help you if you are focused on know for sure I'm going to be in marketing, then that's my passion, that's where I want to go, then probably you should try to take as many courses that are in marketing analytics track. If you're unsure or you don't really you have multiple passions, I would say try to take courses from different tracks. So your 6 electives could be from 6 different tracks. It is a STEM designated program. That means if you have a student visa, then you have that extra time to actually work in a company without having to be sponsored. The application deadline without late fee. Okay, so if you wanted to start in fall of 25, which is next month, August 25th is our first day of class, you obviously missed the deadlines. However, it's still a rolling admission. So if you are a domestic student, you can apply, and we will be able to look through all your application materials and render your decision whether you are admitted or not. Okay. If it's an international student, I'm going to say it's going to be challenging, because by the time, let's say you submit everything today, including all your resume, your transcript, your statement of purpose, and all your recommendations needed, give it at least 2 weeks for us to process it, right? By the time you get a decision, then you may not have enough time to get your visa and come to campus on time. Okay. But you can apply for spring semester. Most of the students do apply. I think we have a higher intake, slightly higher intake in fall than spring. We also have students who joined us actually during the summer. Compared to last summer, this summer we had almost double the number of students in the program. So what I gave you a rough idea of what is required in the application. You have the non-refundable fee. If you're an international student, you pay an additional fee for transcript credentialing. Your personal objective statement, which is a 1-page. You have your resume, your unofficial transcript, your 3 letters of recommendation if you have less than 2 years of work experience. Otherwise, you only need 1 recommendation. This is our GMAT and GRE score are optional for this program for admission. If you submit it, we will definitely take that into consideration. I'm obviously going to tell you, if you submit it and your score is low, that's not going to help your the decision on your admission. So if it's a good score, submit it so you can prove your quantitative knowledge. But if it's not good, my recommendation is not to submit it. regarding, I'll take questions at the end of the presentation. Okay. Scholarship and TA-ship, those are not handled at the program level. It's a committee for each of them that makes a decision. Scholarship as a first semester student, the deadline was May 1st. So there are no scholarship that will be awarded for fall 2025. We have exhausted our list because anybody who was a scholarship recipient, their deadline to enroll in classes was June 15th. Okay. There are two different types of scholarship, Dean's Excellence and Program Excellence. Dean's Excellence Scholarship requires a GMAT or a GRE score. And when you submit, you don't have to specifically say whether it's Dean's Excellence or Program Excellence. There's a scholarship portal. You submit your application there. If you have questions on the scholarship, there is a link there in that portal for you to ask questions. If you send me an email, I really cannot answer that question. It is a committee that makes that decision. TA-ship, it's also not handled at a program level. As a first semester student, you are not eligible to be a TA because we need to see your UTD transcript or what you scored in UTD classes to make a determination whether you're fit to be in our as one of our TAs. I want to state that both scholarships and TA-ships are highly competitive. They are, so the earlier you submit for it, the better it is, especially if you have submitted the application for your admission. I would recommend don't wait for you to know whether you're admitted or not. Submit your scholarship application. We will only evaluate your scholarship application once you get admitted, but nothing hurts if you submit it early. If you defer your admission, scholarships doesn't get deferred, okay? But you are eligible to defer your admission by the one time, whether it's the very next semester or a semester after that. The scholarship, the one part is that telling that I didn't see the email is, again, it's truly an excuse. You should, if you've submitted for the scholarship, make sure you look at your email and monitor it because there's always a deadline to accept the scholarship. If you are changing after your admission to a program. So let's say you got admitted to MSB and AI, and then before joining the program, you decide, oh, I want to switch the program. Now I want to go to a different program. The scholarship does not transfer. The scholarship is only when you're a incoming student, is only for that program. Same way, you cannot switch the program before you start your semester. Okay, you have to at least do one semester of the program that you got admitted in. Then you can apply to transfer to another program. If the scholarship is awarded in fall, it is for fall and spring. If it is awarded in spring, it's only for spring. Okay. What does scholarship mean is that it provides international students for an in-state tuition, which is a 50% reduction in it. So the core courses, these are the 6 core courses. The one in blue, you only need to take one of the courses. I've seen students taking both business analytics with R and modeling. If you do that, then modeling for business analytics will be counted as an elective, and business analytics with R will be counted as a core. Okay. You're also required to do a professional development class, which is mandatory. I would recommend anybody who has not worked in US, even if you worked in your home country, it is different things here. So if you have not worked in US, I would say take that class. Don't request a waiver because there's so much of wealth of information that Career Management Center shares with you. It helps you with your resume, your networking, your interview skills. It also gives you an option to do mock interviews with the faculty there. First semester, I told you, I typically say if you are never studied in a US university, stick with your three main courses. In the first semester, you also have to take the PD class. Stick with that. Now, if you are very tech savvy, then yes, you can add the fourth course into it, making it 12. Please do not take more than 12 in the first semester. And I'll tell you, I had a student in this week who came to me and joined last fall. And I had specifically said in the webinars, in our orientation, please don't take more than 9 credits or definitely not more than 12, especially if you're trying to use the resources at UTD and you want to be a TA. You have to, TA-ship is not just your GPA. That's not what it counts. There's a lot of other things that's counted. That are you part of a club? Are you, an officer in that club? How do you show your leadership? Have you participated in a hackathon? Like other things that you do. If you're doing 15 credits, that means 5 courses, there's no time that you can do anything else because you and I only have 24 hours. Okay. I had a student who came in basically saying, I did 5 courses. I know you told me only take 3 or 4. I've applied for TA-ship, but I didn't get it because I said that is because you did not have anything other than the GPA to show, while it's a highly competitive pool. Okay. If you don't have technical background, we have boot camps for you to attend. It's free of charge for students who are coming into the program. Once you like, if anybody in here is a fall 2025 student, but you did not get to attend the boot camp, you will have access to the recording of the boot camp. Not only that was what happened in the last month and this month, but also in previous years that we had. We have a SharePoint that we house all the recording in there. There's also a requirement for internship. I'm not going to go through a lot about this because as an incoming student, you cannot do any internship. If you are a F1 student, you have to do 2 long semesters before you are eligible for an internship. So if you're coming in fall, you have to do fall and spring, and then you're eligible in summer of 26. If you're coming in spring, you have to do spring 26, fall 26. You're only eligible in spring 27. Even though this is a requirement to have an internship, if there are some students who don't get internship for one reason or other, okay? In that case, there is an analytics practicum class that you can take to satisfy that requirement. You can look at all the different companies students had internship in. That gives you an idea what are the companies that actually will hire a student to do an internship. That's your first pool. So you can look in LinkedIn, search for hashtag UTDMSBA. That'll help you to kind of decipher and know what are the companies that hire students from us. There's student outcomes. This is publicly available information that, where what do they graduates earn? What are the companies graduates go to? What are the job titles? Obviously, being a Texas university, most of our students are still in Texas because that doesn't mean it's Texas company. It could be another company headquartered somewhere else, but they do have a branch here too. Okay. If you look in the 23, the publicized salary report is 23-24. The first year compensation for a business analytics student is close to 6-figure salary. We have students who have that 6-figure salary who graduated either in May or even last December that come into that bucket. What I've always tell students is that don't panic if you don't have a job in hand when you graduate. Okay, there's still time for you to navigate through that. Because when I say don't panic, is yes, some students will have that job in their hand. I have students from my last practicum class who did not get an internship, but they had a job offer before they graduated. So that's also a possibility in there. Okay. And then when you look at the job after graduation, don't panic, meaning well, if your interest was to do business analytics or data engineering jobs, and suddenly you're overwhelmed because you're not getting an interview call and you start applying to anything and everything that doesn't even apply to what you studied for, that is one thing I would say. Refrain from doing that because I think you need to focus on you've spent your time and money to do the graduate program in business analytics and AI. Give it some time. Also, try to get some certifications. And I will, when you're in the program, I will provide you more information for that. Sometimes, like this last semester, we had a hackathon that NIME, which is a data analytics company vendor, that did a hackathon. They came, they taught the students NIME, then they did a hackathon, and we had 3 groups secure awards with them. The first group that got the first place, they all 3 of them got an internship with NIME. So we have a lot of opportunities for you to explore. We have a lot of, I've talked, getting involved with student organization. This could be a little bit overwhelming when the first semester. So this is where you can kind of pick and choose what you want. I would recommend look at in our website. We have JSOM, I think, has about like 50 or 60 clubs. Overall at UTD, we have like 300 plus clubs. Okay. We also have academic certificate, so certificate programs. These are the certificate programs that is specifically put by the MSBA and AI group, like our program. You can also take a certificate program outside of the MSBA program. Let's say there's a certificate business analytics and data mining. That is the certificate is from our ITM group. You can take a certificate for that. All of the certificate requires 4 courses, at least 4 courses that you have to complete within that certificate. Okay. The only criteria or the main criteria is that you can apply for all these certificates ahead of time. You don't, and then when you decide, I don't want to do the certificate, nothing goes against you. Once you're enrolled in our program, these certificates, when you apply for admission, these certificates are free. Okay. The main part is that if you have to apply for admission to the certificate program before you take the last course in the program. Okay. That is the only criteria that you need to follow. A lot of students ask me for tuition estimate. Again, this is not done by the program. It's handled by our Bursar's office. You can just Google UTD Bursar, and there's different calculators that are in there. But roughly, when you look at it, if you're taking 9 credits and you have no scholarship, roughly $15,000 is what it is that you have to pay. If you are an international student, we have our ISSO office that will provide you with a detailed assistance in your, any advising you need for your visa interview. If you didn't get, if you were first denied the first time when you went for the visa application, and then you have another appointment, they'll help you what can strengthen your application or your interview process. I strongly encourage you to follow us in our social media. We have good presence in Instagram and LinkedIn. You can also, if you have questions, you can also email a program email, msbuan@utdallas.edu. CV and I both look at that email box every day, multiple times a day. She looks at it way more closely than I do. And we will answer your question. If we are not the ones experts to answer that question. Say, for example, you ask for scholarship, we'll ask you, go to the scholarship portal. You ask about financial aid or tuition, we'll tell you, here's the link to reach out to the bursar's office. So if we don't have the answer, we'll find the answer for you or direct you to the right group. Okay. I think that's pretty much it. And I will let you ask questions. You can unmute and ask, or you can just post it in there. I see that Sivi has answered most of your questions. If I think
Hi, I have
one again. Go
sorry,
ahead. Go
sorry,
ahead.
sorry,
Yeah. No.
sorry.
Please go ahead.
I was just gonna ask, in your experience, what have you seen in current and past students that have had allowed them to be more successful in this program?
Yes. Good question, Kyle. First thing is that pick the classes, attend the classes. Okay. Number one. Talk to the faculty, have a relationship with the faculty, talk to the faculty the minute you have any issues. When I say any issues, either not understanding, could not submit it on time, like do that very first time. Don't let it just brew and come to me at the end of the semester where you haven't have a good grade and you have not talked to anybody. Yes, your tendency is to go to the TA first, but I'm going to tell you go to the professor first. Okay. Yes, TA is there to help, but professor is the ultimate authority. The other one is making time to actually study the class, the material that's taught in the class, not just push it out. Have a disciplined approach. Okay. I would say, like when I did my last master's, my third master's as a full time employee, I had to put apart time during the week. When am I going to study for the class? Yes, I attend my classes, but then I have to study for it too, whether that be end of the day, on a weekend, whatever it is, that's your time. The other one is, I would say, be involved in clubs. That doesn't mean go and involve in every club that's there. Pick and choose what helps you, what intrigues your brain. Like, what is it that you want to do? There's jobs that people get these days. Networking, networking, networking. I have to emphasize that a lot. Even if you're applying for a student worker job, that is important, right? Because people want to know, if I hire Kyle, how reliable is Kyle going to be? Is he a good worker? So, and when you networking doesn't mean the quantity of people that you have connections with, it's the quality. And try to network with the people. Don't stalk them, but try to network with people. At least once a month, connect back with them. Maybe they asked you to try, study for a particular certificate that their company uses, that tool. You can give, if you feel that's a good network, then follow up with them and what you're doing. Now, doesn't mean everybody that you connect with is going to connect with you and it's going to jive, right? There may be some people you'll feel like, oh, no, that's not the right connection. Do what your heart tells you to do, okay? So in short, be involved, have a disciplined approach to learning.
Awesome. Thank you so much. That was really helpful.
You're welcome. Okay, I think there's a question of what is the typical number of hours? Okay, so that is answered. Okay, I think. Application, that's why I said between 2 and 4 weeks, you should hear. Now, if a lot of students are applying at the same time, yes, if you're working towards the last week of before classes start, I'm going to say that's going to be tight, very tight, because the committee who's going to review the application, including me, have a lot of other things that we have responsibility for the week prior to classes start. Okay, so therefore it may be more of that 4 week rather than the 2 week. Kai, go ahead and ask instead of typing. I think you can ask
Hi,
the
hello.
question. Go ahead.
Yeah, good morning.
Go ahead, Daniel.
So, yeah, hi. So I live in Crowley.
Okay.
Based on like the average workload for the course, do you think is going to be a reasonable commute
I don't know where
from
Crowley
Crowley?
is.
It
So
is about an hour, 30 minutes away.
yeah, I mean, I would say you need to map it out and see how long the commute is for you. I would always recommend that, let's say you have a class at 1 p.m. or 4 p.m., even if, let's say if you have class at 4 and 7. I would say plan to be on campus by noon. So this way you're not stuck in traffic.
Oh, okay.
Any other question?
I have a question. I don't really I don't know if I really have plans to do this or not, but
Okay.
is there a way to like through this master's program to end up transitioning into like a PhD program? Is that something that would be separate, or is that something that can come from this program?
So there is no direct transition, but I
Hmm.
can tell you there are students. I had a student last fall, and in fact, he is applying or has applied for the PhD program for next year. So in the information systems area,
Hmm.
the whole group put it together. It's a really good PhD program. And
Hmm.
if you need a connection in that PhD program, I can connect you with one of my prior TAs who's still finishing off his PhD.
Okay. Yeah, that'd be great. Thank you.
Yeah, just email me. Okay.
Yes, ma'am. I can do that.
Okay. Anything else? You've been a quiet group, unless I answered all your questions during the presentation. We'll give a couple more minutes, and if I don't want to hold everybody up till the end of our scheduled time, if you have questions, please ask.
I have a question.
Yes.
Is there a lot of group activities or group projects in this program?
When you ask me a lot, what does a lot mean for you?
Well, I'm just considering this program and working full time. Just wondering how much time would be expected to work in a group and in certain times because it may not align
Okay.
with my schedule.
Okay, so let me answer. So there are some courses that there is no group work, it's all individual. Okay, there will be some courses that have at least one group assignment. There will be individual component, but there's also group component. Typically, like when I've given a group assignment, we'll provide time in the class to work with the team. And then I recommend students to, as I mentioned, I've done as a full-time employee, done a full-time master's program too, that we'll find time that is common for all of us. We have a Google Doc or OneDrive document that we kind of share what we have done so everybody knows what other people are doing, right? So you need to have that camaraderie with your group mates. And then a lot of times you cannot select your group mates. Like I can tell you in my class, I do not allow students to select group mates because I purely look at it at your workplace. Do you get a chance to select what you do or who you do with? You don't. Both of the answers is no, right? So as a result, I try to coach the students to work with people they have never worked with before. So hopefully that answered. Yeah. And yes, I can tell you the 9 competition that I was talking about, those students were not somebody that they picked, the students picked. We instructors who are involved picked those students. So the first place, none of them knew each other. They worked, it so happened, they all had a really good work ethic.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And to add to it, I would also say, if you're in a group and your group mates are not accountable, I think that would be this is one of those things that don't cut anybody any slack. Bring it to the attention of the instructor immediately. And sometimes that will solve the problem. You don't have to think, oh, that person is going to feel bad if I complain. It's not a complaint. If you are at work and your teammate had something that they were scheduled to finish, they're accountable for that. And this master's student, to me, I consider them like that. If they were undergraduate student, that's different. They have not gone to the workplace. But this is a graduate program, and I expect students to have that accountability. Good question, though.
So, hi. I wanted to ask about career service. I'm trying to understand how it works and how it goes.
Okay, good question. Career services in UTD, in the Jindal School of Management, we have a career management center within JSOM. There's also a university career management center. So typically the UCC would have a career fair both in fall and spring, okay? Most of the time that is catered towards undergraduate students, but I will not recommend any student missing their class to go for the career fair, but going for the career fair, even if it is for undergraduate student, is helpful to you because you get to meet the companies that are there. And there are times when students are informed by those hiring HR team that's there to say, hey, we don't have a data analyst job right now, but we will have an opening next year in February. I'm giving you a true example. I had one student who did that. She marked in her calendar in February, look up this company's website. And lo and behold, they had an opening. She applied and she got it. Right? So even though the University Career Center is mainly for undergraduate, okay, it's a good one, a starting place. Career Management Center in JSOM is strictly meant for JSOM students, both undergraduate and graduate. They put in a lot of resources in terms of bringing in companies. Yeah, they have resources where you can just network with hiring managers. They may have an opening, they may not. They provide you. So it is, as a student, it is up to you. We provide you with the resources, but it is up to you to actually go and get it, right? We are not coming back after you and say, hey, this is there, can you go ahead and apply, right? Or sometimes I get job requisitions. I send it to the whole team, meaning my whole program, how many students are there? We have a program email that I'll send it to the team, everybody, every student, to apply. Now, there may be some students who come and see me regularly, and somebody may have just come and seen me that morning. Their name probably is in my head first. I may send them a note privately. Okay, that's because of my relationship with that student, and the student is coming to me regularly. That is what instructors do. That is what Career Management Center do. We provide the information to everybody, but you can probably expect some of it for students who come to us regularly. But everything is shared with all students, whether you come to us or not. Okay, so you asked the question, how are the outcomes for international students compared to those of US citizens? So this program, if I say, there's a lot of international students, and a lot of them have got opportunities within US companies. And it is, there are some companies may not hire unless you're a US citizen. So you have to look at companies that have hired from UTD, who have internship in this specific. This is where your network and your research is valuable. We have many students who had summer internship, who got their internship extended to fall. And some of them even have basically said, I had one student reach out to me yesterday that I'm actually meeting in 15 minutes, who said, yes, I have. I'm going to continue in fall, and the company, once I graduate in fall, the company is going to give me a full-time job. So hopefully that answered your question.
I have a quick question about the actual kind of coursework, I guess. So I'm currently a senior at UTD studying the undergrad in business analytics, and I'm curious about like what the I'm assuming that this master's degree is going to be a lot more focused in the quantitative aspect. Do you have any insight into how much more quantitative, or if there's specific things that I should keep refreshed on, math and statistics wise?
So I will say that it is, yes, there is quantitative part, because anything in data analytics, you definitely have to have a grounding of some programming language, which is R or Python, SQL, and statistics, right? These are things like SQL is used every day if you're going to do some kind of data analytics. You need to know, so employers, what they have told us, like last year we had, or early this year, we had an analytics event for educators. And we had the chief data officer from Mr. Cooper come to speak. And his whole thing is that continue teaching students the foundations of math and statistics. Because yes, there are a lot of AI tool out there that students may use. There's a lot of, I would say a lot in Python and R, there's a lot of libraries that you can use, but you need to understand, why are you using a particular algorithm? And that underlying knowledge, you only get it from stats, and math or calculus for that matter. So you should have that. if anybody is trying to, like, it's always easy when you jump from undergraduate to graduate right away because that information is fresh in your mind. Okay. If you have taken break, then I will always recommend, hey, before you start the program, just go and refresh. There's so many free resources in YouTube and elsewhere. Data Camp also provides you free resources. Coursera provides you, LinkedIn. Um, do some learning of R, Python, SQL, and stat. So you just have a grounding and you're not struggling in the first 3 weeks in the semester, because that's your make or break point. Once you get into the rhythm and you can understand, you'll learn it. Okay. That's what I did. My second master's was in computer science, and I took a big break because I was working full time. And then I went to do my master's in data science and applied math. And for that, like, I knew programming, but in my work, I wasn't doing programming since I was managing people. I was a leader, I was a director for a group. So I went and similar to what you're asking me, asked them, like the director of this program, like, hey, how can I help myself so that I was joining in fall. He told me during summer, spend time in doing refreshing my stat. Now, I did have my undergraduate was math and stat, so I did have grounding. Do the stat, learn descriptive statistics, and learn SQL. Well, I did not have to learn SQL because that is one thing I would say. If you have done it once, you're not going to forget it. Okay, at least that's how I felt. My first 5 years of my career, the only thing I did was SQL, so I hadn't forgotten it. And then R and Python, I did not know either of those programming languages. I did know Java, but I did not know R and Python. The only thing I did was look at some free resources and work through it. And so by the time I started my semester in August, I knew the first 3 weeks of material. So then I felt good that I can manage my time. And yes, towards the end of the semester, end of the program, yeah, things were tough. Not going to make it, I'm not going to tell it was easy. It was tough because there's more material thrown at you, right? So that is where you need to have a discipline.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Anything else? Okay. Oh, Kyle is writing.
Oh, sorry. I was just removing something that I had typed earlier.
Ah, okay. Okay. All right. If there are no questions, I am going to say thank you for joining. Reach out to our program email, msbuan@utdallas.edu. If you have any questions, we will respond to you. If we are not the right people, we will direct you to where you can find that information. Okay, thank you, everybody, and all the best. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Thank
You
you.
too.